We must never be in the kind of situation that we have been in the last 2 years, where everybody in the world is waiting for us to go down. We must never find ourselves there. And that is why what Treasury did was very important. That even in the management of debt, they have now made sure that there will be no time that Kenya will be expected to pay $2 billion in one go. So that we must reorganize ourselves so that we always know that there is no perception that will be created that Kenya is in danger. Because when you create that perception, you fuel a lot of speculation. And you end up with a kind of situation where we ended up with the dollar going all the way to 160. Devolution is not an invention of us. It is an invention of the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya decided that they wanted a government as close as possible to them. And let me repeat for the upteenth time that at a personal level and this administration, we support devolution 100%. You should never have any doubt as to our support for devolution. With all the, pull and push, which politics is all about, there is pull and push even between our own ministries. One ministry goes off to do something for another ministry. So these tough, little wars, if I may say, are natural in politics. You even have situations where I see the governor of Taita Taveta and the governor of Makueni, they are arguing about a shopping center. One says it is in my place, another one says it is in my place. So there is always this, these kind of things. We must never mistake those kind of things as any part of government trying to claw back or to work against the next level of government. We have had a wonderful relationship, I must admit. The governors have been very understanding, and we have also been, to the extent that we can, very forthright and very understanding. I want to encourage us to continue this spirit. Many times, I have called the chair of the Council of Governors to persuade her to see our point and even to allay some of the fears that sometimes are propagated out of context. And many times we have talked, we have resolved without any issue. Sometimes I have agreed with them, sometimes they have agreed with me, and it has always worked very well. I want to encourage the Council of Governors to continue that spirit of us working together. We will all become winners. We must never contemplate a situation where any one of us loses, because a loss by the Council of Governors is a loss of the people of Kenya. A loss by the next level of government affects all of us. The reason why we asked the Council to come and have a session with us as we have this National Government Executive Retreat is because I wanted ministers here and their principal secretaries to understand that the counties are our partners. They are not our competitors. They are our partners. And there is a very big opportunity by us working with counties. And we lose that opportunity if we don't work with the counties. I want to encourage ministers who are here and principal secretaries who are here. and say it in their presence that county governments are not our competitors. They are our partners. They are another level of government that we must work with, because the Constitution contemplates us working together. We haven't made a lot of success in some areas because we have ignored counties. We have ignored working with counties. It is good for principal secretaries who are here and cabinet secretaries who are here to understand. And I wanted to say this in the presence of the leadership of the Council of Governors so that you know that we view the county governments as an asset and as an ally and a partner for us in the delivery of the plan for the people of Kenya and the transformation of our country. And I want to persuade you to work with us on this matter. Synergy is important, and we must hem in and converge our thoughts, our plans, so that we can together change our country. Now, so just to allay the fears maybe sometimes you have, that we take it for granted that we are working together. We don't take it for granted. We don't take it for granted that there is a working relationship that is not toxic, that is not hostile between us, because it gives us the opportunity to deliver on many things. Let me give you an example. When I went to Homa Bay on the housing thing, I mean, many people told me, how can you go to Homa Bay, surely? You know, you go to the next place, people are complaining. Why? You know, these are people who are against housing. You know, but you see, beyond politics, we have a country. Kofi Annan, one time when we were having this big story in 2008, he once told us, when you see somebody talking, don't assume he's talking to you. Maybe he's talking to some other people who are not even present there. He has another audience he is addressing. So sometimes, even these statements we see from our competitors against housing, it is not that they are against housing. It is just that they have an audience there, they have to tell something, but inside, people believe this is the right thing to do.
We are now in a more certain world. Secondly, we're now flexible to use all the other instruments that we wanted to use. Third, the market has understood the strategy. They are quiet now. Actually, we have no noise. And the noise in the exchange rate is actually the positive noise. That is, it is appreciating. And the beauty about an appreciating currency in a floating exchange rate regime is that it provides a temporary nominal anchor to domestic prices. So it means that it's going to push inflation down. And even interest rates will come down. And we are going to actually have that period I would like to call a very vibrant period. Even during the road shows, there were investors who specifically said, yes, we're coming to the Kenyan market, but we are more interested in infrastructure bond. And we are also looking for future bonds. So foreign FDI flows, we also see it putting pressure on the exchange rate to appreciate. And for us, it's going to be positive. And all the other things I've talked about, exchange rate adding to the cost of living, domestic liquidity will improve. All these are positives that are coming up. And of course, the happy guy at the end of the day is the governor of the central bank, because he's going to be building buffers, his foreign exchange reserves, and building buffers for the future. For us, it is a happy ending. And for us, it's something that had given us some sleepless nights. Your Excellency, I think we can actually talk about a story that has come out very well. But it's also telling us if we trust the market in the right, should I say, at the right day is when market is also responsive to listen to your story, to listen to our story.
The reason we actually managed to pass a new constitution was because of devolution. People wanted services closer to themselves, and they wanted their leaders closer so that they can hold them accountable. So maybe I urge us and urge our colleagues, because we're on the same side. When you see devolution, do not see Governor Waiguru. Don't see Governor Ahmed or Governor Sang. We are just holding office temporarily. See the reason why devolution was actually established. Other than the issue of even resources, think politics. This country had reached a place where it was almost breaking because of centralization of power. And if we claw back everything, it may not happen now. It may not happen in 5 years. It may not happen in 10 years, but there will be a revolt by the people because we will go back to the problems that we had before devolution. I want to urge us as members of the government of Kenya Kwanza. We are all on the same side. We all, for example, support His Excellency the President. I'm now speaking first as Kenya Kwanza. And so I know it can be extremely tempting by the CSs to expand your portfolio. Because if you're given a portfolio that you think, especially if you've come from politics, that you're not going to the ground, that maybe it is limiting you. Let me urge you, please resist that temptation. Resist the temptation to claw back. It can never augur positively on this government. Let it not be that this government is the one that clawed back. And we have worked very hard to restrain from having fights publicly. It's if we are going to hire officers that can be done, to do work that is done by county officials, there will be a clash. If you're going to hire agricultural officers to supervise farmers, and we have extension officers supervising farmers, we will have a clash. Why can't we just synergize and work together? The message from the governors is this: they support your government. They are supporting the development agenda, the plan of the Kenya Kwanza, but they are urging that they be given their due space to be governors and to deliver on devolution. And I think the best way we can do that is when we work together in synergy. Look at the things that we have achieved in health when we have met halfway. The things we've achieved with cooperatives when we have met halfway. If we can just do that with the few remaining ones, in agriculture and in health, I think we can go a long way than if we started push and pulling to replicate functions and duties that can actually be carried out better by the county governments. I submit and thank you.
We think there is scope, Your Excellency, for us to really raise revenue, because there are many people not paying revenue, taxes. We have 20 million Kenyans registered. The KRA has 20 million registered PINs. There are only 8.5 that are active. And even those 8.5 are not paying taxes. So we need to talk about, and I think, Your Excellency, it's more about education and awareness. I think we seem to have lost this story around taxation, where people are saying we are overtaxed, we are overtaxed. I don't think myself we are. Especially if you do comparison with other countries. If Kenyans are paying Harambe, by the way, especially where I come from, every weekend everybody is paying Harambe, and is willing. You don't struggle. How come when it comes to paying taxes, we have to struggle? We need patriotism. We need to create this patriotism where everybody is paying tax because it's good for us.
The recovery is actually starting with the Q4 5.6%. So recovery is starting. That recovery is premised on the policies that the government has taken. That recovery is going to create a very strong momentum. Now, the second thing is that we noticed that however much we tried to talk about the strategy to resolve the Eurobond, there was always some doubts. Why was there some doubts? A big portion of the market, especially our microstructure of the market, believed that the government will still go to the market to buy dollars to effect payments of the Eurobond. And that is why all of a sudden the market coordinated itself to speculate on the dollar, and they were buying as many dollars as possible to try and benefit from the time the government goes into the market. But I also found that when we were looking at where is the activity after the Eurobond, it was actually in the forex bureaus. It was not for those people holding dollar accounts. So in a sense, they were bidding the price. Now, the second part of it is that also potential investors would not come to Kenya because they are actually saying we cannot invest in that country because they have not resolved the Eurobond. So the market was acquiring what I would describe as a waiting option. You resolve the Eurobond and then let's come. So we needed a mechanism to dislodge the market from that waiting option. And that is why entering the market was very, very important. In fact, when we were doing the road shows, I was describing it as let us deal with the elephant in the room. So in a sense, we said, let's try to de-risk this Eurobond, and then we will see how foreign direct investment cases and even the exchange rate, how it will respond. And we have seen that it has responded very well. Now, there are three advantages for us entering the market. First, information was processed appropriately and it reflects what we had anticipated. So there are no gaps now. But the second thing is that we get refinancing, and even now we can supplement with the measures that we wanted to get to do. Your Excellency, but the buyback is still an option now because we got 1.5, and then it means that we still have to provide 500 million. But by the third one is that we actually managed to restructure the maturity profile of future payments instead of having a bullet payment of 2 billion, because that is what was moving the market. 2 billion for that country called Kenya. Everybody anticipated that you cannot pay. And even the other side of the politics was saying they are going to default, just a matter of waiting. But even internationally, when there is a coup in Niger, the Eurobond price interest rates will jack, isn't it? So it means the market was not very well coordinated. So, but for us, we want to make sure that in future we are not beaten again by having such heavy ticket in terms of maturity. That is why we actually went for amortization in the last 3 years of equal amounts. In this case, 500, 500, 500. And which also plugs itself in years that we don't have other maturities. So that maturity profile is very, very important to Your Excellency in the future for two reasons. One, it can be seen that it's a maturity we can manage. And two, we can actually now start igniting a very strong liability management that is going to help us move in that direction.